So this is part C of the Baby Angel Geronimo editions of KhoodeelaarTVChannel television channel, timed at 1740 GMT on Sunday, the 31st of December 2023. The role of the London Borough of Tower Hamlets Council as one of the local borough councils in England in relation to the safeguarding the children duties has been examined in detail over the last years by the Khoodeelaar campaign. would have been very young children when, in October 2010, the first 4-year term of the so called elected executive mayor at the expense of Tower Hamlets community began. So, the safeguarding the children duties would have come into force as the children would have been targeted for grooming and for exploitation by other agencies that were involved and have since been exposed as having been involved in the grooming of these 3 girls. Shamima Begum and her 2 friends. So the safeguarding children duties didn't kick in. It should have done. And all the kind of reporting, so-called, about these three children, published in the local Fleet Street newspapers, Daily Mail, The Sun, The Express, The Telegraph, The Times, including The Guardian. All these papers left out all references to the role played by the local Child Harmless Council. The role was one of negligence, one of not monitoring the children as to whoever was grooming them, whoever was brainwashing them, whoever was actually influencing them. And this is now what? The end of the year 2023. So if we go back calendar-wise, 2015 to 2023, how many years is it? It's between 8 and 10 years, let's say. So these children would have been undergoing the process in 2012 to 2013 to 2014 before they actually took the flight, literally, out of the United Kingdom in end of 2014 and at the beginning of 2015. So what was the local council doing, Tower Hamlets Council? It wasn't a mayored council until October 2010. It was under the leadership kind of pattern, leadership model. A leader of the council, leader of the group, whatever it was called, it was controlled by the councillors belonging to the Labour Party. So even before he became the so-called elected mayor in October 2010, Luthu Rahman was a councillor. In fact, Luthu Rahman as a councillor, in 2008 when he became apparently leader of the council, and he was a Labour councillor, there was no sign that Luthu Rahman was doing the duties, safeguarding duties, because these children, the three girls, Shamima Begum and the other two, fell in the territory covered by Tower Hamlets as the local council. And Luthu Rahman was in the post of leader in 2008, apparently. When he was leader of the council, he should have looked at the list of duties the council owed to the local community, including the safeguarding the children duties. But there is no evidence that he did do that. In the context of the Khoodeelaar campaign, Luthu Rahman was a councillor when we started the main thrust of the campaign, which took the peak, which reached the peak of the campaign in 2006. He was a councillor. He was a councillor for Spitalfields and Bangla Town, and he was a councillor along with Abbasuddin alias Halal. It was Abbasuddin alias Halal who was the leader of the council in October 2004, when the Khoodeelaar campaign held the first rally in the street, Greater Rex Street, on the 22nd of October 2004, against the London Borough of Tower Hamlets Council role in inviting the Crossrail whole attack on the Brick Lane area. Whatever his position in the council, Lutfur Rahman wasn't in any shape or form involved at any stage in supporting the community's opposition to the Crossrail hole. So when the Termless Council became lumbered with the elected executive mayor in October 2010, with Lutfur Rahman being the individual in the post of elected executive mayor, there was no sign that anything was happening. When I spoke to Lutfur Rahman on 29th of October 2010, on the Friday, the 29th of October 2010, outside the Brick Lane Mosque after the Jummah prayer, my main concern to Lutfur Rahman was that he would not embarrass the community and he would not damage the reputation of the Bangladeshis in particular. And Lutfur Rahman promised that he would sit down with me after he got settled in the position of mayor. And he kept promising, and he kept promising, and he kept promising. He said that about 8, 9, or 10 times in the course of a couple of minutes of the conversation I had with him outside the Brick Lane Mosque on the 29th of October 2010. Lutfur never kept his word. He never sat down with me, and he never did anything in any other way, publicly or excessively, that related to the safeguarding of the children issue. Now, think about that. That was 5 years before these girls were first reported by the mainstream British media as having crossed through Turkey into Syria in February 2015. And I was talking to Lutfur Rahman on the Friday, 29th of October 2010. And the main thing I said to him was that he needed to sit down and listen to my advice. I had always opposed the post of elected mayor. I still do oppose the post of elected mayor. But regardless of that, I was giving him the opportunity, as he was in that post, to do everything to safeguard the community. And he neglected that. And today, 31st of December 2023, many years later, I'm having to say that he has not kept his word. In part B, I discussed the lies that he told me about his being a solicitor when he saw me at the exit of the eastern exit of the Aldgate East Underground Station in 1994. The Lutfur Rahman was aided and abetted by the proven liar Giles Fraser. Fame and fortune. Giles Fraser is being promoted in the Sunday Times today, 31st of December 23, as the Reverend Giles Fraser under Fame and Fortune. And it's a heading under which he is promoted. It's scary to go into an estate agent as a first-time buyer at 58. Now, the criminal is abusing his age, and the whole style of that particular heading makes him come across as if he's genuinely in poverty and in need of first-time buying. But he's not. The text underneath that piece contradicts that heading. And the text underneath that contradicts that heading, saying that he's better off financially from his parents. And if you look at his bank account, he says, then the answer, it is clearly that he is not better off. But then I quote him, but I live in a lovely Victorian vicarage, which people would give their back teeth to live in, and I am very happy with my life. Now, that is not the summary of somebody who is scared of poverty, who is scared of having no money, and who is scared because he is aged 58 and there is not much prospect of affluence, so that affluence enough for him to take the step and buy the property for the first time as a freeholder. So this is the liar, Giles Fraser, whose promotion is being postponed to the 31st of December 2023 in the Sunday Times, amid continuing reports of massacres and genocidist massacres by the Zionist state of Israel, massacres of the Palestinian children, massacres of Palestinian babies, massacres of Palestinian women, massacres of Palestinian elderly, 58 years old and older. And there is no mention, there is absolutely no mention of these massacres and the genocides in this piece by this Giles Fraser, famous and fortunate. He is the one that actually is boasting in the article that he had three weddings to his wife Lynn. And one of the three weddings he had was held in Jaffa, in Israel, in the house of a friend. We shall be returning to Giles Fraser in due course, because there is a lot to return to Giles Fraser for. Because the corruption, the lying, the dishonesty, the support for the Zionists, and the suppression of the corrupt regime of Luther Rahman that Giles Fraser has been party to, aiding and abetting, are too important to be left at this stage without going into all the aspects of the corruption and criminality that is the Luther Rahman regime in the London Borough of Tower Hamlets. And that is being examined in the context by taking into account the promotion by the Communist Party Morning Star, which we call the Communist Party Morning Scar, in a piece by Andrew Murray, dated in the Morning Scar website, the 12th of December 2023. We are ending this particular edition, part C, at 17:35 GMT, 17:40, 17:44, no, it's 17:56, 57 GMT.